All right, so this is a test slash overview slash review of this MIT wireless. It's a router that will do AT&T and T-Mobile bands. It'll do all of them, including the 66 and the B66 and B71, which are the newer bands that are hard to find, inexpensive routers that will grab these bands. I had have a Netgear, I can't remember the exact model, but as of recently, AT&T has banned that equipment off their network. So you have to buy something new, and my carrier said that this is what they recommended and this is what they offer. Not really having much of a choice and having to shell out more money to get rid of an item that was, or a device that was perfectly good, kind of irritated me, but you know, being over a barrel, I decided to just go ahead and buy it and see if it was going to work, on the condition that I could, of course, return it. So this is sort of an unboxing. I've already had this thing apart, so this isn't going to be a super fast unboxing, because I don't really care about unboxings. But anyways, here's the device. Power, information, device, done. All right, so that's out of the way. The problem I have with this device is normally, as you'll see in a little bit when I take it down, I have my device in a waterproof closure that I hang above my roof with external antennas to give me a better reception. This one doesn't allow for external antennas. They're all, you can see that they're all bolted on. It's one piece of plastic. I've already had this apart. I'm going to take this apart again and see if we can't modify this and make this work. So right out of the box it needs fixing because it won't do what I want. And I've researched a bit, and I can't really find a device that's inexpensive that will do exactly what I want. So everything's going to take a little bit of screwing around, so I just decided to go with this. It's an unknown device, never heard about it, haven't turned it on yet, don't know much about it, but we're going to see if we can make it work for us. The goal is going to be simple. Is to take this, probably get rid of its plastic shell, put it in a waterproof closure, put external antennas on it so we can boost our range, and put it up on my roof where the old one was. Alright, so this is the device in which we will be trying to replace. Perfectly good device. I've had this for a couple months. It's a Netgear LTE router. I'll figure out what the model is, or maybe I'll take it out of the box now. But and maybe you'll see on the back. It worked great for a couple months until it was banned off the network. Don't really have any issues with it. I've taken and put some external antennas and put it in a waterproof box and put it up outside, and it works. So now I'm going to have to pull it apart and stick this guy in there. As you can see, there's a bit of a size difference. So instead of having to rebuild the whole new case, I'm just going to take it apart anyways. So we're just going to see if we can't get it to fit in here. So this is a Netgear, and I've also taken this one apart. I have a video, or I had a video that I was going to post about this device and how well it worked and putting the external antennas on it, but then they got banned, so I don't know what I'm going to do with that video, if I'm going to bother editing and posting it. But this was the Netgear, and it was a model LB1120. In case anybody's wondering. So that's what's getting replaced. Works pretty well. The new one actually will cover more of the band, more of the frequency bands that AT&T and T-Mobile would cover than this one does. So we are getting a little bit of advantage of being able to upgrade which channels to the newer channels. So hopefully that will make things even better. And obviously I got these antennas that I've tried to water seal and up as best I can. This is what we're trying to do, is we're trying to get this to fit in there. So the next step is to take this guy apart and see what's inside. I've already had this apart, so I know what's inside, and it looks fairly promising. So it looks like there's a possibility that we can get this done. Find the right screwdriver. I took a little plastic plunger and I tried to get on the inside of this thing without breaking all the plastic clips, but they're impossible. Even if you're really delicate, the clips inside here are just super delicate and they're going to pop off. There's two big clips and a bunch of smaller ones, and I've already broken all the small ones, so I'm just going to go with it. So this is the inside. Now, mind you, I haven't even turned this thing on yet to see if this thing works. I'm just assuming since my carrier gave it to me that, and it works with their network, that it's just going to work. So we think that this board, the PCB by itself, is going to fit inside here. I think it will, fairly nicely. The other thing while we're in here, let's take a look at a couple things. And a couple things to note is it has 6 antennas. And they're kind of odd. If we see here, this is our LTE sort of wireless cellular chip down here. I could look at the part number. Let's see if I can get this up close so you can see what's on the can. Somebody's got their fingerprints all over it and whatnot, and it wasn't me. Let's see if we can get focus on that at all. I don't know if you'll be able to read that. But it's Coaxial. It's an EC25AF. And anyways, I'm pretty sure this is the wireless module, and this is the home wireless, your 2.4 and 2.5 gigahertz here. And the thing is we have actually detachable antennas, luckily, and I think I've seen most routers are this way, is for the internally for the LTE, because I think based on what country or what carrier it has, they have to have different antennas on them. So instead of building everything differently, they allow this bit to be detached, so in the factory they can swap these bits out. That's my hunch. But anyways, it looks like the cellular antennas are detachable, while the wireless, these 4 wireless ones for your regular 2.4, 2.5 gigahertz home network are soldered onto the board, and will have to be removed and resoldered back on with additional antennas if you wanted to keep Wi-Fi functionality. I don't. I'm going to cut all these antennas off. The other thing to know is your 2 LTE antennas are these ones on these sides. So these 2 are your LTE wireless cellular antennas, and these other 4 are your home wireless antennas. These 4 over here. It's just interesting how they did it. You'd think that there would be different spacing or something, or better spacing. It just seems odd to me, but yeah, it probably works fine. But it's interesting. So I think before I completely start cutting the wires out and completely take this apart, I'm going to turn it on and get it up and running with my cellular service and just make sure that it works before we take it all completely apart. Alright, I just plugged it in and I'm waiting for more lights to show up. It looks like we have wireless active. I don't see... oh, there we go. 4G just came online. So let's see if I'm going to now connect it to my phone and see what I get. Alright, so I've just got my phone connected to it. All it was just accessing the wireless, connecting it to the wireless, and immediately started working. I've got some data there. It's about quarter to half of what I normally get. Hopefully when I put this up on the roof it'll improve, but so far kind of sucks. But we'll see if we just aren't set up right. I might have to register the device with my provider or something. So we are connected. It is working. So there's some good news there. All right, I had a poke at the web interface for this thing on my phone. I don't usually like the web interfaces on doing setup on a phone. I have to get my actual laptop out to really give it a good once over. But everything seems to be there and in working order. So therefore, I'm going to continue pulling this thing apart and trying to put it into the other case and adding new antennas. And we'll see how successful that is. I'm going to do another speed test one more time just to see what we get now, so I can get a before and after, make sure that we haven't gone backwards or making things worse. Let us go to FCC, restart tests. This takes a minute. So that's looking pretty good. Let's try one more speed test from good old... Come on. And data speeds around here vary from day to day. But consider that usable. Won't cry about that too much. and we have a baseline to go off of now. All right, so on with the deconstructing and reconstructing. We're going to lose our wireless, our 5G and 2.4 gigahertz wireless radio, so this whole half of this whole thing will be essentially dead once I cut the antennas off. But I might just desolder them, because I might have a chance of resoldering them back on if I have to put it back together. Yeah, I'll do that. We're going to lose half of the functionality of the device, but I have a router that I like for my trailer, my mobile setup, that I don't want. I want it to do the inside wireless, and have this just do the LTE cell service. All right, so here we go. We're going to desolder some wires, or some antenna wires. So I've gone through a couple iterations of these LTE wireless mobile setups, and if there's a lot of interest, I get a lot of likes and comments and questions and stuff about this setup, I can do a second video and answer those questions and go deeper into depth of what we're doing here. Got the Wi-Fi detached, and we now are going to detach the LTE We're now going to detach the LTE wires. And these have been a little bit of silicone onto the board. Hopefully we can just delicately pop them off. Cleaning up the board as much as I can, because I'm going to add a little bit of electrical silicone back to the board here to hold my connectors onto the board. So now we're completely detached. I think there's nothing for it but to actually remove the board from its casing. Hopefully won't ever need it again. This goes well. All right, that's relatively straightforward. Keep that on there. That's quite nice. Get rid of that. All right, so now we need the connectors that we're going to use to attach our antennas with. And I think I've said this before, is I have a bunch of these from previous projects. Maybe I can check my Amazon history and figure out where I got these. I'm pretty sure I got these from Amazon, but I got quite a few of them here. Take the best looking of the lot. I think it's going to be these two. And believe it or not, I have run into, it's going to be impossible for me to show you this. There's no way this camera is going to maybe turn the focus back on. A way to show you exactly what that looks like, but put the exposure back to neutral. That's the best I can do, showing you what they look like. There are two different kinds of these. I've not ever run into the other kind. I've seen pictures of them, and I can't remember what makes them different. I think the male and the female ends are swapped or something like that. But generally, the wire is the female end, and the board, the SMT, the surface mount component, is the male end. And I think we're going to just take these and clip them on. They're just clip-on. So now I've got two regular, I think they're called SMA connectors. Shoot, I might have to look at it as we might need reverse polarity. I might have the wrong ones. Let me see. The other thing to note is that these SMA connectors, these small little connectors, that there's regular and reverse polarity, and it's just which side is male and which side is female is swapped. Alright, so what's happened here is that if you see, we've got the male end here being on the threaded side. And the male end on the threaded side. Well, we also have a male end on the oh, you're not going to be able to see that. There's a male end on the internally threaded side as well. So that means we need the opposite one of these. So I'm going to have to go and search and buy another set of these wires that are the correct way around before I can continue this project. That's very unfortunate. I do have some adapters that I can use in the meantime just to see if this works, but I'm going to have to purchase new pigtail wire things, the adapter wires. All right, day 2, and we have a delivery. Hopefully these are the right connectors. They are so they're IPEX mini PCI to SMA. I guess standard SMA, not reverse polarity. And hopefully these will fit. So these ones, the ones I had just around, are reverse polarity, and we need the not reverse polarity. And so we're gonna connect these up to the LTE wireless side of the board. Please snap on. I do find these connectors delicate, and I'm always nervous about these because I have snapped a couple off the board in the past. Well, that snaps on nicely, good solid connection. There we go. Both of those seem like they went on well. Alright, now the hopefully somewhat simple task of just mounting this inside of our case and wiring it all up, and hopefully we'll be on our way. We'll test to see if it works, and then if anybody else wants to attempt this project, they can. Build your enclosure for your antennas. If I said in my previous video, which I'm not sure if I'm going to post or not, when I was originally building this enclosure, I put my antennas 90 degrees opposed to get the a better divergence between the two antennas. You have to think about that a little bit, how you want to do that with your however you build your enclosure. And you can put them 90 degrees like I did, or you have to space them a certain amount of distance apart. I talked to some manufacturers and they said, I can't remember, but you can look up and get a recommendation of how far the antennas should be spaced from each other and the different orientations that are reasonable for your setup. This is what I came up with, and it works fairly well. Can't say it's absolutely perfect, but it works pretty well. But that's that in the box. I just gotta zip tie it back down and secure it down. I think I'm just going to use the same zip ties I did before. Put a little bit of electrical silicone over the connectors to make sure that they don't you know, reduce stress on the wires and whatnot. And then plug everything in, close up the lid, and we'll see how it works. and that'll be that. Alright, so here's the final configuration. I've sort of slightly silicone this into place and loosely put some zip ties. I'm careful about the surface mount components, not put too much tension on this, otherwise it'll rip these components on, but these zip ties are actually quite loose. Mostly the fact that the screws are here and here and they're pointed this way sort of puts tension to hold the board in, and it doesn't seem like it wants to go anywhere. So once the silicone dries, I think that's going to be the main way it holds in, but I think this will probably be pretty good. And if not, we will do it again better next time. But my main concern is not damaging any of these surface mount components over here. Time to put it back up on the roof and see if she works. I'll report in. Alright, so this is my LTE router put back in its box and installed back up on the roof. I put some silver tape on the outside to sort of reflect some of the heat from the sun away from it. So that's how I have it installed, and it's working. Alright, I've got it installed back up on the roof, and I just did one test there as a previous test. Let's test it again. And we're going to test let's go to the FCC speed test too. Why not? Anyways, that'll conclude this bit of the video for now. I don't know if you saw, I think we spiked again at 70 millibits per second, but we're at 52 and 52 down and 24 up. So I consider that to be pretty good. Alright, thanks for watching. Have a good day. Like, subscribe, comment, all that goodness.